Hello viewers, I'm Shelly Kapoor and I'm currently at the Coveted Valedictory Tech Showcase organized by AIC CCMB and being covered by MyStartupTV. I have a very distinguished guest here today at the Thought Leader Show, Dr. Madhusudan Rao, who is the CEO of AIC CCMB. Sir, very, very welcome to you.
Thank you.
Now that the event has been concluded, what are your impressions and thoughts of the entire day? We started with a roundtable discussion. The chief guest, of course, was here. So I have a lot of questions for you, but just to kind of get you started, what are your thoughts on the entire day?
The first feeling is relief. Okay, we've been at it for almost 3 years now. There's a kind of culmination of a lot of activity that went in last 3 years. So it's a big relief. And then going by the response, we are always happy with what we have done, but that's our perception. But we always want to see the others' perception about our achievement. On that part, I think we have done the kind of feedback I got from various participants. I felt good, which means that what we have done has been seen by them equally. That's a good feeling. So I'm happy.
Wonderful. How long you guys were planning this or organizing this? The whole planning?
We know that it's going to happen around this time. So it's kind of a thing in our back of our head for a long time. But the actual event started maybe a month ago. Mostly trying to look at the participation of CMD. So that we wanted a bit longer time from him to be part of this valedictory. So maybe a month is what, but then, fortunately, both CCM and AIC, CCMB has very good organizational skills getting into place because we have kind of known vendors, known devils in terms of services and things like that. So,
and a fantastic team.
That's what I'm saying. Besides my AIC team, the CCMB team considers AIC's activity as their own. Which is extremely important,
right?
Because the moment I use their facilities, their physical space, their security, or the horticulture people, which are all small, the canteen and all that, but they come with no second thoughts about participation. They consider that is their own event. So that takes a lot of load on what would be the outcome. I never had a worry, though there will be some nitty-gritties, but that's not really an issue. But the support system is excellent. So, in terms of executing an event like this, yes, it needs a lot of planning, but it gets smoothly. So it's not a problem. Like, minute to minute programs and what is the role of each of the divisions at CCMB on our own, whether it is display, shamiana, everything. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It is concern, but it never became a concern actually.
Wonderful. So what is Coveted Valedictory Tech Showcase?
Okay, I just came up with coveted more like it sounds like something, sound wise it makes that something we want to do it. COVID, tech, event kind of technologies kind of a thing. So the idea was when these people wanted to support, everybody realized that the pandemic is a big challenge and everybody wanted to do their own bit. So at that point of time, we came up with this kind of a suggestion to support startups. And then I think probably that everybody probably I can tell you all people who can give money, gave money. So fortunately we had support of SPM CIL and we were very much into, around that time, I just came out of a project by Gates Foundation on assessing the Indian capability in manufacture of kits. Because at that point of time,
which kits?
The PCR kits for the diagnostics.
Okay.
So at that point of time, with the support of Gates, we set up a team. At that point, there was no, except one who was doing it, but many people, nobody had come up with a kit. Everybody has the components of their own, enzymes, primers, what we call.
But not a full-fledged kit.
They didn't put together in a packet. But everybody knows what need to be done. So there is, we wanted to assess, say one of the end goals at that point of time was, can there is a capability to make 10 million kits per month by India. So because I'm a scientist, I know I can back calculate what is the quantum of enzyme, how much primer I require, how much of Taq polymerase, how much of tubes I require and all that. So we back calculated quickly and asked people to submit their own component to us. And then we tested them. I had a team of some 8-9 people who were we bought the best in the market and benchmarking the things that came to us again as the best in the market. Okay. So while doing it, I know which ones are good, which ones are not good. So we gave a feedback to them. They came back to us with their improved versions and all that. So that helped. They gave a lot of confidence to those people. And I know their capacity. Like, an enzyme guy, if he has a 50-liter capacity, he can produce this much. So that is sufficient for 100 million kits if everything comes up. That kind of a calculation became very important. And that also gave me a kind of cost analysis of the whole process. And now when somebody was saying in the morning that it costed around 3,500 rupees per test, it came down within a year to less than 1,000. Eventually came down to 600. And now I know the kit doesn't cost, the raw material doesn't cost more than $70.
No.
Okay. But the equipment is costly again. But the point is, I'm not including the equipment cost, the whole thing, the human resources. But the basic cost is something, 60 rupees is quite amazing. I mean, what the hell? Suddenly the whole eyes opened and then, probably you could have offered the kit for $150, not 3,000. So, and the more important thing is we can do it ourselves.
Right.
That's more important because at that point of time, I was also part of the testing for ICMR, the Telangana government. We get a lot of samples every day. And then I was buying all the kits. And then they don't come in time.
These certain realizations only come when you worked on things and then you...
The pandemic kind of is shouldn't be saying, but it's a very good teaching.
Very good teaching.
Very good teacher, actually, about our own selves.
Yeah.
A lot of...
In many ways then.
A lot of misplaced confidences were kind of sorted out. And then now suddenly we know that, okay, these are the bad patches, these are good patches, so look at good patches. Yeah.
Wonderful. You must be very proud of all the work that AIC CCMB is doing in the molecular biology sector. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was a scientist for almost 30 years, and I always felt that when I look around, obviously during our service we travel a lot abroad in various places. I must have gone to some 15 to different countries and see what goes out into the market. Looks to me, what the hell, we also have it, but why are we not putting it out? Then we know that what are the pathways that each of these universities in the West have, like technology transfer offices, how to protect the interest of the inventor, institute, and the client. That never happens very smoothly in our country. There was nobody was pushing it. So I thought it's an important avenue for us to be, because every time the government says, what are your deliverables? If you say, I have published and I trained these many students, is not what the government is looking for. Ours is not a teaching and research institute, CSR per se. CSR is a scientific and industrial research thing. So they look for applications. That never was happening in a very structured way. Things are happening, but in a fragmented way, depending on the individual's enthusiasm and initiative. That's not fair in these times. There should be, systems should take care of these inventions and take them out and make a product. That's when we thought probably a place like Incubation Center probably can give that bridge for things to cross from an idea to a proof of concept and things like that. But that journey is always not considered by an inventor very, very challenging, because they think that's not my cup of tea, and he likes to do something next, more interesting thing, rather than making something more robust or more market ready. I don't care about the market. Hardly corporates walk into this building for them to appreciate what corporate understands. So there is a reluctance on the inventor side, but there is a national need for these kind of inventions to go to the public. So this bridge is what going to make a difference, is my way of looking at it. So we started this. Initially, we were looking at only people coming from outside, not from inside. So there was a lot of, and I won't say advertisement, but a lot of talking about our activities in CCMB was needed to impress people that this is what you're going to be evaluated for, not based on your own publications and things, which is important. But at the same time, you're using taxpayers' money. Where is the social benefit?
Absolutely.
So now AIC can give some kind of a activity that they can show. Obviously, AIC is part of CCMB in a way, promoted by CCMB. So they can showcase the technology, the startups that are flourishing here as an activity that they have taken up. And then there is, in at least last 5 years, at least 10 different companies used the resources of CCMB to mature their products. Okay, and now we have 4 students who start their own ventures in CCMB, in our AAC. So these are all right things. And in fact, more faculty want to come in, but the processes are not still very friendly. So we are looking at it. Actually, we wanted to make sure that there is no conflict of interest in terms of institutional requirements of a staff versus the staff's interest in starting a
and their own
enterprise.
business or enterprise.
Yeah. So these are, I understand these are genuine issues to be sorted out. But at the same time, if you leave them unattended, things are not going to move forward.
Absolutely.
So that's where we wanted to, start a conversation so that SOPs or operation methods will be in place so that it's a smooth transition. Like, I made an invention. I don't know how good it is, but I want to give it here, start a company, employ somebody, take it up, and things like that. That's what we want to do.
Right. So you were a chief scientist for over 3 decades with CCMB, 35 years to be precise.
So I was 28 years, but these 7 years
and
as a
CEO for AIC CCMB. What is the difference in both 2 roles, and how the expectations of your role have changed? As a CEO of AIC CCMB.
As a CEO of AIC CCMB, the passion is to make sure that more startups are reached and they're enabled in their journey. That's the overall objective in the life sciences, because that's where AIC is probably good at. How do you, as I said, most of these startups come with, if I can say, monochromic vision, in the sense that they know this has value.
They know what they want to do. They
want to do, but what else is required, they're not very clear about. So try to make their vision more colorful, in the sense like what is around the corner and what kind of business.
Open their minds
for. It's not purely a bench activity. It's more of a journey. It's a business journey, which has its own different mandates and then requirements. You have to wear different hats. That part is something challenging. So that's the kind of inputs that we try to give with this team. Bring in a lot of mentors and keep on, from all corners, almost like an echo. We keep telling them, this is the business plan you should have. This is how you look at the balance sheet. This is how the regulatory timelines. And this is where you can go for initial product design. All kinds of things. There is so many requirements that they need. And they're not very, they don't think they're serious. Those requirements, they don't think they're serious, but they are the only thing serious. And another big lacuna is communication. I mean, most of the scientists think that ideas are good, so others should appreciate them. Nobody gives a damn about science, in a way. They're more interested in the product based on science, not on science behind it. So you should understand the difference. You have to dilute yourself, the science part of it, and then tell them what is the benefit for the investor or the next guy about it. And these are not something that easily come to most of the founders. That's where we have to make that, break that, ice.
Mr. Vijay Ranjan Singh, the chief guest, chairman and managing director, SPMCIL. He was very, very impressed with the startups and their products which were displayed. But I would like to know from you, what his feedback was, what all he said to you, and if there's any specific direction that he further gave.
Yeah, I think he's a very experienced man, and I'm sure he has seen many. But, taking the kind of comments he made about the activity per se, and actually I liked what Ajit Rangnekar was also saying about, the importance of both the things. What Vijay Ranjan Singh said about some of the CSR things that most of the companies spend on, 10 hospital tables or toilets for the school children, or ambulances, or a eye camp, or a blood camp. I mean, these are all things, is what most of the people do. And it probably gives them the optics that they're looking for. But the point is that's somebody else's job. Basically, I thought that's a nice way to put it. And also Ajit was saying that, it is important for CSR corporates should look at innovation centers like ours to promote this one, because he said the right word, that is multiplier effect, which adds value to the whole chain ecosystem, rather than plug and just deliver some 100 toilets or one ambulance here or 100 wheelchairs and things, which is also important. But at the same time, this lasts long, and probably it has a much more outcomes than those kind of activities, which are also important. So what he was suggesting, at least 2% of the CSR money should be spent towards innovation. I thought I liked that a lot. I think Vijay Ranjan also I agree with that, the way he reflected in various ways, saying that, he was very happy with the way the money was realized, though he was not very happy with the percentage of money given to the startups, but that's fine, because that budgeting was done, it's a kind of a top-down thing rather than what we asked. So there are many aspects. I think I liked it a lot, and I think he was happy that the money was spent well. Yeah,
I agree with you. I saw both of them were very impressed. Mr. Rangnekar also was very, very impressed, and he was right that you guys should be talking about it more. So all the good work that you've done here. I will just end this with one last question. What is the vision of AICCCMB, and what are your future milestones?
We've been in this game for almost 6 years now, and then we are reaching a kind of a revenue model that is going to become static, and that's not where we want to stop. And that is one part. But what we are looking at it is, obviously, we are looking at around what are the more successful models elsewhere in the world. Okay. And also, what are the kind of challenges most of the startups face? I can clearly tell you, it's easy to get money, 500 crore, 30-40 lakhs. If you have a decent idea and a passion for it, it's easy to get that kind of money. But once you cross that initial journey, then the money that is required is big when you want to go for trials, especially life sciences. I'm not talking about IT. So you need money in crores. That never comes. Or the money that comes is very limited. So now, how do you, so many of them come there and kind of stop. Or they get delayed because of I can tell you so many companies start with a bright idea and then suddenly find their cash is crunch and then go for services which is not their forte. Okay.
They were not in it for that.
But they have to survive. So now what we are thinking is bring in investors right from the beginning, and then almost say, I'll give you, 1 crore if I do a acceleration program of some 30-40 people and give some 5 people who are the best among that acceleration, give them 1 crore each and then ask them to now there can be a stake taken by the investor also. But investor right from the beginning is very important in their journey. As I said, scientists come with only not very wise about entrepreneurship. They're wise about the technology,
right,
and not on the entrepreneurship. So if the investor is right there from the beginning, part of their board or whatever, then it makes a huge difference on successes. That's where we want to go.
But the entrepreneur or the investor also has to firmly believe in the idea, because if he comes with a complete business mindset, then he probably could be one of the factors who would end up influencing the scientist to change his or her course of action.
I agree, but these are all part of the game, how much arm they twist.
Yeah.
These are all, stories of life. So I don't see that
but the
as a
latter
problem.
is nevertheless a better scenario.
Yeah. Definitely the business approach to an entrepreneur, the so-called sciencepreneurs, it's very, very important. In fact, they may consider it as a less intellectual. That doesn't matter, but that's what works, because they have to understand entrepreneurship is business. You're not there to tell you how smart you are. You are there to make money. That wisdom has to come right from day one. Otherwise, things are going to be, you're not looking in that direction if you don't have that,
Absolutely.
So that's what I think.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you. Thank you so much for sparing so much of time.
No problem. It's our pleasure. Thank you, Startup TV.
Thank you. Once again, this is Shelly Kapoor, and thank you, My Startup TV, for covering this event.
Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.